Welcome to the SCV Law and Life podcast. I'm Mason Rashtian. Each week I sit down with people in the legal world and beyond to talk about the strategies that are actually working for them in law, in life, and everything in between. Real conversations, real lessons, and ideas you can actually use. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the SCV Law and Life podcast. I'm your host, Mason Rashtian. Today's guest is Adam D.H. Grant, a partner and shareholder at Grant Shenon Almaraz, and a seasoned trial attorney with more than 30 years of experience handling complex business litigations, cybersecurity and digital privacy matters, construction and real estate disputes, and high-stakes commercial cases. Adam is known for his philosophy that every successful legal strategy begins with understanding the client's story. He combines extensive courtroom experience with a practical, business-focused approach that helps clients resolve disputes efficiently while keeping their long-term goals in mind. Outside the courtroom, Adam brings the same discipline and determination to endurance sports as a 14-time Ironman finisher and Ultraman World Championship competitor. I'm looking forward to hearing his insights on litigation strategy, client advocacy, and what it takes to succeed both in law and in life. Please join me in welcoming Adam Grant.
Thank you, Mason. It's a pleasure to be here.
So it's been a while since you and I have spoken because, after I left our group, I haven't seen you since then. So we'll get into what's been going on with you. But for people who may not know you, please take 2 minutes and give us your background.
Sure. So let me do what I'd like to say is the front side of the card and the back side of the card. The front side of the card is what's on my business card. I'm the senior shareholder and lead litigator at Grant Shenon Almaraz. I've been practicing for, at this point, about 37 years in complex business litigation, primarily with a lot of real estate and construction matters. I've had a couple dozen trials, jury trials lasting as long as 3.5 months. I argued before the Court of Appeals over a dozen times. Well, I could say clearly still enjoy what I've been doing for all this amount of time. The firm has grown significantly. We're at 24 lawyers at this point, and growing. We now have labor and employment, commercial landlord-tenant, transactional, and then, of course, my litigation department. On the other side, blessed to be married almost 36 years, 3 daughters, and happy to say first grandchild. Jonah was born in December. So it's been quite the ride.
Oh, congratulations about being a grandfather.
Thank you.
How has it been?
Absolutely wonderful. I could say as of today, Jonah is probably the most traveled 6-month-old. He just landed in Phuket, Thailand with my daughter, his mom, Jordan. They're joining Kevin because Kevin has been working there for about a month. So a little bit on edge this morning as my daughter navigated 25 hours of flight solo with just Jonah, but it's been wonderful. My wife retired in June, and so she's been doing the full-time grandma thing.
Wow. Well, I hope the flight went well. 24 hours is a long time.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I went to Hawaii last week. It was only 5.5 hours. So I can only imagine how much more that is.
Yeah. Jonah's going to join myself and my wife, Joyce, in November for a trip to Hawaii. I'll be racing the Ultraman World Championships there again. And so Jonah gets to watch me, I'm sure, from the safety of the car with mom and dad.
Okay, cool. So tell us a little more about the business. So do you guys handle both the plaintiff and the defense side?
Yeah, we are certainly party agnostic in that regard. So both plaintiff and defense, it really doesn't matter to us. Certainly in the business litigation world, we, from a labor and employment standpoint, we only represent the employers on the defense side, but everything else is plaintiff and defense.
Okay. Give us some examples of some of the cases you guys have. So for people who are listening, know what, if they need your help, they know exactly who to go to.
Sure. I'll tell you what was on my plate this morning and what I dealt with yesterday. On my plate this morning was a hearing in a matter involving a dispute between a director/shareholder and the other directors in a closely held corporation. It just happened to be a nationally known cosmetics business. Claims of stealing money, claims of diverting assets, claims of not doing what people think you should be doing if you're a fiduciary. It's right at the beginning stages. I filed a motion to have the whole matter dismissed. Basically, the court agreed with me, but gave the other side another chance to try and state a claim. I don't think it's going to happen. Yesterday, I spent a significant amount of time in court, actually in a restraining order hearing. I handle both the civil harassment, domestic workplace, and even domestic violence restraining orders. Those are like trial training grounds for myself. We handle easement disputes. We're going to be filing a motion next week, a neighbor dispute on two very large properties in Malibu, and one is encroaching on the other in building walls on our client's property. That's kind of a sampling of what I do.
Okay, that's a lot to deal with. So I know you guys are in the San Fernando Valley,
Yes.
correct? But you guys handle cases all over California?
We do. I was up in Ventura the other day. I have a couple of cases down in San Diego, quite a number in Orange County. We just were retained in a matter up in Sacramento County involving claims of defamation and slander.
Do you have a favorite type of case that you like to handle or no?
I do. The ones that go to trial. That's from a standpoint of really what the be-all and end-all for me is. It's cross-examination, closing arguments, and then if it goes up on appeal, doing the appellate oral argument. For me, that's the epitome of advocacy. And the art of cross-examination, it's just something I completely enjoy. Generally speaking, though, complex business disputes between companies, shareholder derivative actions, those are a sweet spot for me.
I know the bio, when I looked on your website, talked about the client's story, and that's what you like to really engage in a lot of times. Can you tell us a bit more about how you approach that and what that means to you?
Sure. So it's actually something that I was talking with one of my senior associates with yesterday. Part of what I do as the senior partner is I actually meet with our associates one-on-one for an hour and really say, okay, give me the 3 hot topics you want to learn about, and let's go over them. And one of them happened to be that exact topic. The senior associate very much wants to start doing trials, and he asked me, so how do you get the big picture? How do you sell it? And it kind of goes into learning about the client. And what I tried to explain to him was, when you are handling a piece of litigation, you really need to know not just your case, but your client. The client from a personality standpoint, what drives him or her emotionally, and then the business. And once you're able to gain that understanding, and that I think really should be done at the get-go, right in the beginning, then you're going to be able to craft a strategy that fits not just from a business sense and a legal sense, but one that really sets well with the client kind of mentally and emotionally. So learning how to communicate with them, learning their hot button issues, learning what drives them, really kind of what's their why? Why are they doing this? Once you understand that, that's kind of an overarching theme that you need to drive home within the case. Because if it ends up in trial, having somebody talk to the jury about what their why is, that's going to seem the most logical and easiest for them to do. And it'll come across authentic, which is, of course, what you want the jury to hear.
Yeah, the why is always the big key.
Yep.
In my arena, we do personal injury. I know a lot of the very successful trial lawyers get to know their clients very well. They'll go out to lunch with them. They want to find out who they are personally. So that way they can convey to the jury exactly who they are and be able to represent them the best way. So it sounds like that's what you like to do.
Very much so. Yeah, my clients learn a lot about me. They learn a lot about me personally, and that gives them license to open up to me as well. And it helps tremendously in being able to very adequately represent them.
Okay. Can you please tell us how people can get a hold of you if they need your services?
Sure, you can go to our website at grantshenon.com. You can give us a call, 881-5000 in the 818 area code. And since it's all public knowledge, my email is agrant@grantshenon.com.
Okay. So let's talk about the back of the card a little bit. How long have you been doing the Ironman competitions?
So I started racing shorter distance triathlons in 2000. I will say I come from a pretty active background. I literally learned to swim and walk at the same time. My mom was a lifeguard at a community center where I grew up, and I learned pretty quickly that somehow I was able to run much faster and much longer than kids much older than I. So throughout elementary, middle, and high school, I swam and then ran track, then road crew at UC San Diego. And then from that on, after law school, is when I started to get into triathlons, shorter distances for a couple of years. And then in 2000 and, started 2005, I think, was my first Ironman. It was Ironman Arizona, and I had the pleasure of having my oldest daughter, Jordan, run across the finish line with me. I finished it in 12 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine that.
It was incredible. It was amazing to have her there. I raced with a training buddy of mine who I had raced shorter distances with before. He came in a little bit after me, but he finished.
So obviously I've never done anything as far as the Ironman stuff goes. I don't even do marathons, but I've done trials, and when I do them, afterwards you get this incredible high. So tell me the difference between, finishing up a trial and running a marathon or finishing up the Ironman competitions. Are they similar? Are they different?
Well, I would say a lot of my clients, when they learn what I do at not just the Ironman distance, but beyond doing Ultramans, they understand that it takes discipline, that it takes tenacity, and it takes pacing. So when it comes to trials, it is, I think the song phrase is "Love is a marathon. It's not a sprint." Same type of thing with a trial. It's not a sprint. You need to pace yourself. You need to take your time doing it. And part of the analogy I speak about with my clients is, what happens in the middle of a trial when something goes a little bit off? The judge makes a ruling that you disagree with on some evidence. A witness says something that contradicts something in a document, or the jury, for whatever reason, doesn't like one of your witnesses or your expert. Those things happen all the time. And you just simply have to anticipate that and pivot quickly and move on and do what you can under the circumstances. That's exactly what happens in a race. I anticipate things will happen. So when things do happen, I don't emotionally go off the rails. One time I finished the swim when I was doing Ironman Lake Placid, and because it was particularly warm that day, one of my tires in the transition area where you go from swim to bike was flat. It had a blowout. So I get out of the swim, and right at the start of my bike, I have a flat tire. Some people may say, oh no, there goes my whole race. Well, you have a spare, you change it, it takes a few minutes, you hop on, you get going. That's part of what you need to do. It's when things go wrong, learning how to pivot and learning how to react. So dealing with trials and dealing with endurance sports, they're very, very similar. At times they're extremely painful, and then you're done and it feels great.
Yeah. So I know I asked you about talk about Ultraman. I know that's different that's the next step. And
yes. So what's the difference?
Yes.
So with an Ironman, you have 17 hours to finish a 2.5 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and then a marathon, 26.2 miles. An Ultraman is a 3-day event, and you have 12 hours each day to finish the task at hand. the first day is a 6.2 mile ocean swim and then a 90-mile bike. The second day is 171 miles of biking. And the third day is a double marathon, 52.4 miles. So,
oh my God, you realize I'm just sitting here when you tell me these things, my body hurts just just hearing about it.
I can appreciate that. For me, my body doesn't really hurt until about mile 32, 33 on the run. Everything else it's a cumulative effect, but just learning to fuel yourself and get some good sleep and recovery is important.
So do you have an idea how much longer you're going to do these marathons and competitions?
Yeah, for a long time. As far as I'm concerned, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm 62 years old. And at the same time, I mean, I just competed in April doing Ironman Texas and did quite well. I just raced a shorter distance triathlon up in San Francisco called Escape from Alcatraz, which, yes, the next question is actually, and the answer is yes. You jump off a ferry right by Alcatraz and you swim to the St. Francis Bay Yacht Club and then bike and then run. But yes, so, and next year I have Ironman California. So as far as I'm concerned, I may not be as fast as I was 25 years ago, not too far off, but it's a matter of just pacing and fueling and recovery.
So is this how you keep your balance from being a litigator and your life, or do you do other things aside from competitions and
well, I like to say, I mean, I think in theory, they all say work-life balance. I think in theory, things are always a little bit out of balance, but I think just because of what happens. If I'm in trial, clearly that's going to be taking precedent. If I'm 2 months out from Ultraman, I'm training 25, 26 hours a week on top of everything else. And then being a husband to my wife of almost 36 years, partner of 44, and a dad to our 3 daughters, and now granddad. So learning kind of how to deal with all of that, it takes some juggling. On top of that, personally, I think it's extremely important to give back to your community. I sit on the board of a number of nonprofits. I was a co-founder of Mediation Centers of Los Angeles, which came up after the LA Superior Court stopped having their free mediation. So we provide free and low-cost mediation services to litigants. I sit on the board of a nonprofit that assists teenagers who are going through high school and having mental health issues and require assistance with IEPs. And I sit on the board of a nonprofit that governs a camp that actually I met my wife at in 1977.
Yeah, you better remember that date, otherwise you're in trouble.
Technically, we were 12. We were 12 when we first met, but we became in June of 81 and started dating February 27th of 82.
If I remember correctly, you're also a foodie, aren't you?
Oh my gosh, yes. My wife and I certainly enjoy spending 3-4 hours dining.
Yeah. Where do you guys like to eat?
Oh gosh. Well, going downtown, Bestia is quite yummy. Republique is another wonderful place to go and eat. Patina also, I mean, very, very good food. There's a restaurant called the Tiny Door. Again, extremely good.
What do they have?
Similar type of food. It's California fare. You have, it's very creative. I mean, when you read the descriptions, part of it, you think, oh my gosh, they were able to put that together. It's delicious.
And what about at home? Who does the cooking at home?
Trader Joe's.
Trust me, we had pork chicken last night from Trader Joe's. I know what you mean.
Yeah, it is I'm fond of saying I married Joyce for a billion reasons, not one of which included her culinary expertise.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
Yes. So she would own it. It's fine. I mean, she doesn't really like cooking. The certain things she does cook for various holidays are incredible, It's just not something she likes to do. And while I love to cook, from a timing standpoint, at this point we're empty nesting, and I get home, and if I have a workout, or it's just a convenience sake.
Okay. So what's your secret to success in business?
Passion.
Which-
Passion.
Tell me more
Really
about that.
love what you do. And I will say, have a really good managing partner. And that's Nutella Shenon. I love the people skills I get to work with as far as the associates and the partners. I love practicing law. I love talking with clients. I love business development. I'm not a numbers person. And Nutella is phenomenal at it. And she sets up systems and procedures, and she loves it. So I always say, do what you like to do and have other people do what they like to do. And it works out well. And my other partner, Dave Almaraz, amazing attorney, great people skills, great at mentoring young associates. So we all kind of have our highest and best uses at this point.
So in the last 37 years or 38 to 39 years, I know you're in that range.
Yes.
You've seen a lot of changes in our profession. So
Yeah.
what really comes to mind as far as what has changed so much since then?
Two things. One was what I call lemonade out of the pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, making court appearances, if you had to either go down there physically, and that really was the most of what you did, or you did what was called court call, and that is calling in. I didn't like court call because I couldn't see anybody. So I was mostly making personal appearances. More expensive, more time, parking, driving. With the pandemic, the LA Superior Court ramped up their technology, and now you can appear on video. That, I think, is a game changer. It allows you to be more efficient. You're allowed to have everything right in front of you digitally. You could search it. Of course, for trials and evidentiary hearings, you have to be in court, but being able to appear at LA Court Connect, I think, is a game changer. And as far as more from the culture of it, when I started practicing, and it seems for me weird to say that, but I worked very, 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 very hard. From an hour, how many hours I spent per month well exceeded 200 hours in billable time in and time out. I'm not sure that I see that level of tenacity with younger lawyers. I really would. Some absolutely yes, many no.
Yeah, I was discussing this with another attorney a few days ago, and it seems like today's younger attorneys, it's not per se a career like when we first started this.
Right.
I've been doing this for my 30 years. It's totally different. Yeah.
Very different. And the other thing that really has come to fruition in the past 3 years is the use of AI. I'm actually giving a presentation around the city. I think I have about 10 different speaking engagements where one of my partners, Louisa Manuelian, is talking about new laws that directly impact employers with regard to use of AI in hiring and terminating processes. And I'll be discussing the use of AI by attorneys, its benefits, and unfortunately the pitfalls. I will tell you, I have seen time and time and time again, people use AI and they use it as the final product, not as a tool, as a beginning device. And there's ethical pitfalls, financial pitfalls if you get sanctioned, and reputational pitfalls.
Yeah. Now I've actually seen a couple of weeks ago, I was on a Court Connect call, and there was a proper in court, and you can tell that person had used ChatGPT because the stuff it was asking, you could tell reading off a paper. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, I did see that coming up, and I actually probably going to sign up to hear it. If other people want to see that, the talk you're going to have, where can they find it?
It's on June 29th, and it's online. It's a webinar for the San Fernando Valley Bar Association. So sfvba. I think it's org, maybe com. But if you log on to it, you'll be able to find it on the calendar.
And I remember you used to be a president of the association at one point, San Fernando Valley Bar.
Yes, president of the Bar Association. My firm is still very much involved in it. We regularly sponsor the installation dinner and most recently Judges Night.
Oh, cool. Okay, so we talked about passion as far as work goes. How about life? What's your secret to success in life?
In this case, the serendipitous luck of finding a woman when you are 17 that you can grow with, hands down. I mean, if people who know me know that I often talk about actually with my relationship with my wife and how rewarding it is, and how incredibly fortunate we both feel to be together for 44 years. Having a life partner that you can just communicate with at all levels, that is the essence of it.
Ah, I agree. I like that. So, tell everybody else again how they can get a hold of you for services.
Sure. It's Adam Grant at Grant Shenon Almaraz. Website is grantshenon.com, grant at grantshenon.com, or 818-881-5000 for the firm. Mason, thank you so much.
Okay. One more question, which I often ask my clients. If you were to talk to your 12-year-old self, based on what you know today, what kind of advice would you give little Adam?
That's a really good question. And if you asked my sisters what 12-year-old Adam was like then versus 62-year-old Adam now, they would say it's the same person with just a little bit less hair and a few more wrinkles. My father used to call me the little old man, and that was because I was the type of child who was, as they say, an old soul. So the tenacity was there. The self-setting goals was there. The ability to hold a conversation with anybody was there. My father would, he would also say, he was an attorney as well. If you put Adam in a room, even at 12 years old, with 100 people, he'd leave with 100 friends. So a lot of what I did then, I do now. So I probably would simply say, keep doing it.
Ah, I can see you having a little soul. I totally agree with that one.
Thank you.
Okay, Adam, thank you so much for being a guest today. And for everybody else who's watching or listening, please like and follow and subscribe us to our channel. Thank you again, Adam.
Enjoy your day.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the SCV Law and Life podcast. If today's conversation gave you something to think about, make sure to follow or subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. I'm Mason Rashtian, and I'll see you next time for more conversations on law, life, and what really moves the needle.